tired. Shabbat shalom. All right, we want to get ready to get started on our. We're going into the eighth night, right? Eighth night of the feast of dedication. This is the eighth night, and I don't want to say unfortunately or fortunately, we are not having a sixth Kanuka lesson. So, but we thank y'all for the Shabbat. We thank y'all for just making it through this entire week. I remember, when I first started keeping the feast days, number one, I said, you guys deceived me. You said feast days for 8 nights, and I thought we had food for 8 nights, right? That was number one. And then number two, that was tough. I mean, where do you go anywhere for 7 or 8 days straight? And so after being in work, it's a sacrifice. The Bible says present your body as a living sacrifice. So to be at work and do all that what we have to do and take care of family, then come here for 8 nights, it's a lot, but, total Yah. It's a small portion, right, to give to Yah for what we ask for and what we need help with. So we thank Yah for this feast day. We want to acknowledge our churches, Bethel Temple and College in Chicago. We say Shabbat Shalom. Say Shabbat Shalom to those in Nashville congregation, in Florida, those in the Dominican Republic, in East and West Africa. We say Shabbat Shalom to you and Ashakak Kanuka. We want to welcome all those that are joining us via our live stream on Facebook at #MyRestorationGospel. You may be joining us on YouTube at #MyRestorationGospel. I want to thank you as well. Everybody has a lesson? You guys, you want to do the young stuff. I think I emailed you. But we got a hard copy as well. That's fine. Can you give Mr. Yosef a hard copy of that one right there? I sent it to you digitally. No, I sent it to him this morning. I'm just saying, did you want no? Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm the only old dude. It's the same thing. Yeah. I don't buy the newspaper. I like my paper copy. All right. So everybody has their lesson, digital copy or physical copy. We're going to talk about Christ, and we're going to talk about the light. Can somebody give me a explanation, or what does, in biblical terms, light mean to you? Don't try to get smart and try to say I'm going somewhere with it. What does that mean? We think about light in reference to biblical terms. Yes.
If I had to just give a quick answer, whenever I think about light, that's something from El. It's like, we just people like, oh, I saw the light. That means you're on your way to heaven. When Saul was blinded, he saw a light, right? He was blinded by a bright light. Christ is the light of the world, and so light is something that's good, and
Okay.
it's from El.
All right, good. Mr. Yosef, J, your hand up.
Shabbat Shalom. One of the things that come to my mind when we talk about light, Psalms 27, when David said, Yah's my light and my salvation. So it's like light is representing a source of power, strength, and protection.
Okay. Anybody else? So light is good, right? When we see light, is there anything that's not good associated with light that you know of? Who said yeah? Nobody? In biblical sense? Yeah, just biblical sense in any sense. What do you think? No. No. So we're going to talk about the light. We're going to talk about the great light. Okay. So let us go and let's look at, because it says something not just about the Father, but it says something about us. Right. And I preached a sermon yesterday. Yes. This man get too excited. But, I said yesterday that you should be different. There should be something different about us. And that should resonate with other people. Somebody that I work with that's an executive on an executive team, he always make this remark about me. Now, some people, especially my wife, may be like, that's not. He said, man, I just, you know what I admire about you? You got a whole bunch of stuff going on, personal stuff. And he said, but regardless, every day, I don't care if I'm going crazy about something that's not getting done. He said, man, you like this. He said, I admire that about you. Now, he's over me as far as, an executive. But for something to shine through that I'm not even trying to do, he said, man, it's different. I'll never see you get, like, you got it. It's under control. So no matter how bad things may seem or how difficult things may get, you walk in a way that everything's in control, right? Because when you serve the God of Israel, and when you understand that the promises is to the true culture of Israel, which you are a part of, things are going to happen, right? Difficulties are going to come. Tragedies are going to happen. But regardless, even unto death, now you say, wait a minute, now pump your brakes. But even unto death, to live in the kingdom where you got a mansion, where streets are paved in gold, where you would never die, that's a blessing. Now, we don't look at death as a blessing, but if you Israel and you living right, and you understand the promises, and you kept the commandments, even unto death, we rejoice. And so we're going to see about this light and the great light and how all that, how we fit in. That light can't shine without us, but we'll get into that. Let's go into our first slide about Yah. Yah, which is the Lord, is my light. If I can get a reader. Kai, do you have did you get lessons? They sent you one? Okay. I just know sometimes people use will use their tablets and stuff for notes, but if you all fancy, you can look at the PowerPoint and write on the same.
Most of us are.
Yeah. My iPad is, I guess, old. Kanuka gift. Kanuka gift. All right. So let's look at Yah's my light.
Yah is my light. Light was the very first word spoken into creation. Before form, before order, light. It reveals, separates truth from darkness, and makes life possible. That same light continues through Scripture, guiding, healing, awakening. And later it is said again, the Yehovah is my light and my salvation. The light shines in darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. You are the light of the world. What El, or God, spoke in the beginning, he continues to speak through his people. Light is not just something we see, it's something we carry.
So let's talk a few minutes about that. Right? The first thing he said is let there be light. So before there was any order, he had to create light. Right? And that sets the tone for what we see from that point of him speaking those initial words until he comes back. So anybody has anything else that they see here?
I see this last part that says light is not
Just make sure you
just
talk a little bit louder.
a little louder. Okay. Light is not something we see; it's something we carry. And
Okay.
people talk up, you should look different. You should, your appearance, your countenance, the way you carry yourself should be a reflection of El. Your light should shine through. When people encounter you, it should be something different about you, and that light is supposed to. If you're walking with El, then that light is supposed to shine.
Yeah. I wish that I don't want to say I wish it, but that I would have got this when I was like Jania's age, or I don't know, younger than Franklin, because we went to school, and people are finding themselves at school, and you got a great opportunity. I was a part of some Bible studies when I had a business down at Illinois State University. I lived down there for maybe 2-3 years, and I used to go to these Bible studies, and I was dumbfounded by the nonsense and foolishness, that was being taught. And, I went to Bible studies, and some of I went to on a regular basis. But they were teaching like, you don't have to get baptized. You don't have to do no type of works in order to be saved. And they had a following, right? So there is something for everybody. When you go to these college campuses, Janiyah, you got to let your light shine. Like when you at school, Franklin, you got to let your light shine. When you at work, you got to let your light shine. Now, don't get fired. I ain't say go in there with your Bible, right? Preaching during lunch. But when the opportunity presents itself, you got to be ready. And I had a couple of people, but, again, our sister Christina, if it was just one person, sometimes Yah will put you in a position. He'll put you at a job. He'll put you in groups because there's somebody in there that he won't. Now, you may say, man, I can't stand this job. I got nothing out of it, but you got that one person, right? And so that's why we don't complain about the direction that Yah, guides us in, because he understands what he's trying to do, although we may not understand it. Okay? All right, anything else before we move on? All right, let's go on to our next slide. What light reveals?
What light reveals? Light reveals what was hidden, gives direction in darkness, and brings warmth where there is cold. When people walk in truth, compassion, and righteousness, they become living lamps, showing others a path forward without forcing it.
So you're supposed to guide people. Your light guides people to the correct path. That means that without you, they can never find it. And I say this all the time. I think we don't want to accept it because then we have a responsibility. And it's a huge responsibility. And me personally, I don't know, maybe because I got more white hair on my face and head than you got, but I work urgently because you're responsible. I know that I'm responsible for somebody. Now, some people think that it's just their job to come here and feel good about keeping the commandments. And you should feel good about keeping the commandments. But to some people, their only job is to be here and get saved and stay saved. Man, what about other people? What about people? I'm not even talking about your mother and father and people. What about people that have no clue that they're walking in darkness? They have absolutely no clue that you must keep the 7-day Sabbath in order to enter to the kingdom of heaven. They have no clue that you must keep Passover in order to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Now, I don't care what they say right now. But what a beautiful thing for you to see somebody in the kingdom, and you were responsible for that. Now, ultimately, it's Yah who opens up their understanding, but you the one who shine the light so that they can walk into that path. So I'm gonna say this: it's not about you. It's not just about you. It's not about you just getting it. And y'all gonna have to give you some wisdom because you have this huge paradigm over here that's saying one thing. And you are that small over here saying something totally different. So Yah has to give you wisdom. This is a divine message. And because it's a divine message, this means that this came from him. So he's going to have to give you some divine wisdom on how do you break through the paradigm. People that have been in Christianity, people that have been celebrating Christmas, people that have been going to church on Sunday, people that have been eating catfish and pork chops. How do you break through and tell them that there is no salvation, there is no eternal life in your current walk? Okay? Did we keep reading? Did we finish? No.
Light doesn't argue with darkness. It simply shines, and even the smallest flame changes the room. Okay.
So what's true about that? Somebody says true. What's true about that?
Well, I think all of it is true, but light doesn't argue with darkness. So as the light, as you said, and as our minister of music said earlier, we're supposed to give order. We're supposed to. You can't see without light. You're in darkness without the light. So if I'm the light of the world and I see someone who's in darkness, it's not my job to argue with them. It's just my job to be the light, and that should convince them that wait a minute, I'm in darkness. I'm attracted to this light. It's almost like the moth to the flame. I can say that the darkness is almost a moth, and those people will be attracted to the flame. They'll be attracted to the light and want to inquire and figure out how to become light myself.
Yeah. This is what I just got out of it. If it's completely dark in here, remember we said light doesn't argue with darkness? If it's completely dark and you cut on these lights, darkness ain't got nothing you can do about it. It's light. It's no longer dark. So if darkness had a consciousness and said, I want to remain in darkness, well, the light is on. There's nothing you can do about it. So once the light is turned on, that's it. Right? The light is shining. And now we can see. All right? Who else? Come on. No, you might say it better. You might say it better than me.
That's almost verbatim what I was going to say. I like candles. I love candles. And so sometimes I like a little mood lighting in my room. So even if my room is very dark, if I just want to light one little tea light candle even, it does drive out the darkness. Mm-hmm. It does create some sort of force of power of just illuminating what was completely dark and making that, whatever it is, be more visible. So
light is always good. All right? Unless you're in my room, my wife like, cut off the light. Cut off the clock. Close the cabinet. She need to be, she like light no good. It got to be complete darkness. Dr. Tate.
Shabbat Shalom, saints. I was reminded of some commentary that came up in the Torah portion, not today, but last week when we first started talking about the story of Joseph. And I don't know who, but someone made the comment about Joseph being a blessing wherever, Minister Baruchi, I mentioned, wherever he went. And how wherever he was, whether he was in Potiphar's house or in the prison, or being second in command in Egypt, people could see that the Yehovah was with him. And there wasn't nothing to argue about with that, right? Whether he was in Potiphar's house, whether he was in the prison, like it was clear that he had the Yehovah with him and that he was a blessing. And so when I think about that, I think about his light and how his light was shining, no matter the fact that he was being wrongfully imprisoned, no matter where he was, his light was shining, and there wasn't a need to like, argue that. It was apparent. And so when I think about what it means for us to be a light into the world, I think about, another comment that was made in Torah portion about what it means to be Yisrael at all times, and how we should really strive to be a positive light, to be a blessing to anyone that we come in contact with. And it doesn't have to be from a place of opposition, but merely us moving through the world. We should be a light into the world. We should be a blessing to the world. The Bible tells us that, the whole world is going to be blessed through the seed of Yisrael. And so that means that the way we carry ourselves, the way we interact, the way we speak to other people should be a blessing to others.
And I say this to, I guess, everybody here. It's not about your status, because sometimes we don't feel good about ourselves because financially we may say, man, I'm not really, where I need to be. What impact can I make? I'm not at the highest level in my career or among my peers. Right? And so we kind of devalue ourselves. And I liked, to a degree, being at a low state for a number of years. And I'm not saying I'm at no high state now, because that's the advantage that I have. The Bible says, what advantage hath the Jew? Much. And not in some ways, Sister Kai said, in every way. But chiefly among them, or chiefly, they were committed to oracles of God, the words of God. So what makes you more powerful? And you don't look at yourself like that. But when you got the word in you and on you, people look at you in reverence, and they look at you at higher esteem than you may look at yourself. You got more power than them, although they got more money than you. Right? You got a higher status than they got, although they may be your boss. Because Yah is my Father. He's created all men. And so don't be discouraged and disappointed, and don't feel no type of way, because Yah is preparing. You guys seen Daryl Cooley. He's preparing you for something that you can't handle right now. Right? And he's making you ready. The Bible, the song said, because he cares. He's providing you with what you need. If I had a piano over here, Constance, I'll sing a couple verses for you. Amen. So let's go to our next slide, knowing the great light. Anybody has anything else to contribute to that? Yeah. And it was always good to go ahead.
I just want to bring it back to what you were talking about earlier, how sometimes it's intimidating to know that here you are, this little peon over here, and you're going against this whole big paradigm, all this deception, all this darkness over here. Again, the room, the auditorium, the stadium could be completely black, completely pitch black, but you have one light, and it's going to shine, and there's no denying it.
Mm-hmm. So. And it radiates through.
And it radiates.
Like, I kept telling myself when I was struggling that I was great. Now, I didn't tell nobody else that. I reminded myself who I was. I understood what this was. And I kept telling myself, and I kept telling myself. And after I told myself, Sister Kai, for about 6 years, you know what happened? They repoed my car. And I kept telling myself, and I kept telling myself, and I kept telling myself. And when you walk with the holy boldness on the inside, it will transform you. You know, it's the same way. We say, I'm going on a diet. I'm start eating this and that. Yeah, just because you ate a bowl of soup today don't mean you done lost 10 pounds. You got to keep doing it. Keep putting certain things. Keep putting herbs. Keep putting those things in your body. And at some point, the transformation is going to take place. Listen, when you go to the doctor, and I was bad at it, and they give you an antibiotic, You take this for 14 days. You take it for 2 days. Like, oh, I feel better.
And then why y'all always finish the treatment? And then you're gonna be looking crazy about 2 weeks later. Oh, nothing done.
If I go to your house, you got medicine in there that you didn't finish taking, right? Because we feel all right now. We good.
You got a whole time.
But keep putting this word. It works the same. As a matter of fact, better than medicine. You keep putting it in you. You keep putting it in you. You going through some stuff. You keep putting it in you. Because Satan wants you to see that what you putting in you not working. Now, I'm guilty. I started taking some stuff. I'm like, man, this mess don't work. And I stopped taking it. Well, did I give it enough time? So we got to just keep putting the word in us and believing. Yeah. And you come amongst believers, because when you putting it in you, that's why many people go to the gym. Because they need other people that's around so they can, it motivates and it encourages you. Versus you doing it at home. You done did some sit-ups for 2-3 weeks. You're like, my stomach don't look like it went down. But you got to go around people where you see, right? And that's motivation. Okay? Knowing the great light.
Knowing the great light. Here is a shocking statement, and one that most people will reject. The world cannot know the great light without God's people, who is described as the light of the world, Matthew 5:14. Throughout the history of the Bible, the Father used his people to give the message of salvation to the world. From Moses to Jeremiah and even Peter and Paul, some person had to give understanding of this light. Matthew 11:27. The apostles as well had to go out and let their light shine on the world who was in darkness. It is said by many that God's light shines today independent of the light of the people. Unfortunately, this line of thinking will cause many to miss the message of salvation.
I don't want to ask who don't accept that, because you might not. I know you're not going to raise your hand. And it's the weirdest thing to believe that everybody who gets in the kingdom. Let me say it this way. When Christ told the apostles, "Go ye therefore, the Great Commission, into all nations, and teach what I commanded you," was it possible for anybody at that point to get the message of salvation independent of the apostles? How could it be possible later on for the world to get the apostles' message? Dr. Zake?
Well, I think one of the issues is that people think that because of things like the printing press, right? Like anyone can pick up a Bible and they can read the story. And so there's this assumption that, well, I have the words, I have the book, I can do it independent of someone else. But then we see even in the Bible, the eunuch who's reading the word, looking at the word, and it says, "How can I understand except someone teach me?" So there was already evidence of that even in the Bible, that you can't just have the words on the page and understand it without El's divine workflow, without someone that has been sent, without a teacher, a preacher that's been sent of El that you might understand. But I think that's part of the problem. People just think, all I need is the scripture. I can read it at home, and I can do it. I can see the light of God independent of the light that he's put on the world.
Man, it's such a hard concept. It's a hard concept for people to accept that I have to get the true word of God. Or let me say it this way. I have to get the kingdom of heaven's message through individuals. Now, they accept it in the sense that they think wherever I go, that I call my church home, that my pastor is giving me what I need for salvation. But it's unthinkable that people will believe in the 21st century with all these religious denominations that God has people that are set up to give you truth. And without it, you can't enter into the kingdom. So you better not ever tell people it that way. But we are a lot. Go ahead. Did you have something?
What you're saying is just so fascinating because all the businesses and organizations that we have in the world today, they all have workflows and processes that need to be done in order to have order, in order for the business to function and thrive. So why would the creator of the universe not have some kind of system set up where his message and his word can thrive and survive? It's like they just saying, hey, it kind of don't matter. We can do our own thing, but L, he doesn't have a system that's already formulated to make sure that his word gets across. It's crazy.
Well, the
you know?
world has redefined the system.
Okay. But
The-
I mean, I'm just thinking about us as humans. Like, why do we have the authority to say that this is how we need to have things set up, but the creator can't have that same type of process set up? You know?
Yeah. And again, I think they do believe that there's a process.
Okay.
They just define the
Okay.
process.
Okay.
So the restoration, we got to take them back to show that the process that the Father has set up has been altered. And the only thing, and this is part of a book I'm writing, the only thing that Satan needed was time. If I can cause the church to fall, which the church fell, and then I resurrect the church with these authoritative leaders, who's going to question the religious system? Right? Who's going to question the Catholic Church, who the Bible defines as the mother whore? And there were other little whores that came out the mother whore. Right? That continue to perpetuate the same lies. They just altered and changed it because out of that change, out of the Roman Catholic Church, came the Episcopal Church, and came the Baptist Church, and came the Church of God in Christ and the Pentecostal movement. And so, while their doctrine is different than the Catholics, the change was made by the Catholic Church. So yeah, you may say, we don't follow the Catholic. Yeah, but the Catholic changed the Sabbath to Sunday. So you follow that principle. The Catholic says, let us have nothing to do with the detestable Jews. We're not keeping Passover, we keeping Easter. And so all the denominations continue down that path and doing the same thing. So if you can move the system long enough, it's believable. There are kids all over this country and world who were adopted at 2 years old or 3 years old. So it's normal life. Why would they even question whether, are you my stepmom? What, are you my adopted mom? What would make them say that? And so the concept of what we're currently experiencing is not people, not a thought. And when you start talking that thought, then they're going to say, you crazy. They're going to say, who done got into your head? Who you over there studying with? What cult did you get into? Now, I'm in a cult because I'm telling you something the Bible says. Christmas ain't in the Bible. When I say it, you can say, well, you don't believe in baby Jesus. You in a cult. Right? So, but we got a job to do. So, Scott.
Had a couple of things I wanted to say. As we were reading this passage, the one thing that I wrote down is that yes, Yah's light can shine without us, but then there would be no testimony of Yah's faithfulness and keeping us as a people and His love, and there also wouldn't be any salvation for people because people would not keep up with what they should. But then I was also thinking as someone was talking, there's a Bible verse that says that. No, what was said was that people think that they could do religion and do things on their own. Mm-hmm. But in the Bible, it explicitly says that where, I don't know, like 2 or 3 or more are gathered is when God will enter. Don't know what Bible verse it is, but the Bible clearly tells you that you can't you can't walk this walk alone because you don't know everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's so infested that it's God, they don't like logically. If you have this conversation with somebody, you're like, well, yeah, that makes sense, but they pull back into the paradigm because it's so big and it's so powerful. What you're saying makes sense, but what they say is the entire world can't be wrong. So if I had to pick between what Noah is saying about a flood and what everybody else is believing that it never rained, I'm gonna believe what everybody else is saying. And so it's a sickness that they can't even. They hear you, and it's in them, and then it's gone and pop back because the world is big and the world is moving. So it's hard. Even when they see the truth, it's hard, right? So y'all have to give us strategic ways of reaching these people and unlocking something in their little nappy brain that will cause them to say, wait a minute, right? Y'all got to do it. We got to do our part, but y'all got to speak to us on how do I unlock. Let me say this, Dr. Tate. There's a form, and I said this before. I don't remember, and I'm going to look this up. There's a class, a psychology class. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but there's a psychology class that you got to sign off before you take the class. Yeah, because the class teaches you how to climb in to a person's brain and turn the switch. No, I heard 2 or 3 people tell me about the class. I don't know if you ever heard about that class. It's some class that you got to sign off on because it teaches you how to do that. Man, I don't know what type of class it is, but you got to, because they don't want you, they don't want you doing that. And I have to, I'm going to, matter of fact, I keep talking about it, I'm going to have to research, not that I want to take the class, but Yah has to give you a spiritual way because man can teach you how to do it, but that doesn't mean that you activating the spiritual side in a person, right? So Yah has to give us that, that way of what to say, when to say it. You may be talking to somebody for 3 years. I got friends that have been my friends, and I talk to them 4 or 5 days a week. And I never brought certain things because I'm looking, I'm waiting. And y'all had moved on me when to say certain things to them and how to say certain things to them. So, Dr. Tate.
Commentary is actually just a reiteration of something that Brother Alonzo shared with me earlier today. After the Torah portion, he pointed out a Bible verse that was read talking about the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine. And he made a comment about like the psyche of man, that in this Bible verse, it talks about how in the midst of the famine that they were going to forget about the 7 years of plenty. Like the famine was going to be so awful. They're going to forget how they had, overflowing. Yeah. And when I think about that, that's just 7 and 7 years. That's not too much time has elapsed. And then when you're talking about what you were saying about the effect of time, that Satan had in terms of creating this whole new paradigm and creating a whole new majority, right? When you think about what we spoke about earlier, how nobody questioned keeping the Feast of Dedication. Nobody was questioning keeping the 7th-day Shabbat when it is to be kept. But that was the norm.
Sure.
And so time has elapsed so that what is right and true and from El is now you're in the minority, and now that's something so strange and so weird.
Yes.
And so it's so fascinating what time can do. That's what people have known for centuries in terms of causing people to assimilate or wiping a people out. You don't have to even kill all the people to wipe them out. You can just kill their culture and kill their identity with the, benefit of time.
Yes. Time creates a new normal. Like, listen, even, I don't want to say they forgot about it, but in my field, in IT, it's something triggered after COVID. People say, I've been working from home. I'm not coming back to work. And IT bent. And so if you see a lot of IT jobs, a lot of them are remote. because that time, not that people forgot, but that time, it caused the shift. Yeah, it caused the shift. So time is dangerous. And I'm I've committed my life and my brain is going. That's why sometimes I just want to go to sleep. My brain is just going because how do you convince a world? Listen, I'm not saying convince your kids. It's hard to convince your kids to eat broccoli or whatever the case may be. How you convince a world? How do you raise the awareness? How do you trigger something in this world to cause people to change the way they think? Now, you do it too good, they're coming after you. Because there's going to be a group in the ministry that's going to be dedicated to teaching the dietary law. They're going to teach it so well that the pork industry is going to start doing. That's $1 trillion industry. The beef industry is going to start doing this. Now you messing with the economy. Now they're going to try to silence you. They're going to pass laws. You know there are laws now that you can't speak against food. You know that's illegal. That sounds crazy. That you can't speak, you can't go, you can't film stuff inside a slaughterhouse. And write that down and Google it. There are like 11 or 12 states that it's illegal to speak against food. The weirdest thing I ever heard. Man, they're killing this beef, killing these cows. They got mad cow, moo disease. They, you start saying all that kind of stuff. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. So when you start teaching the dietary law about strangled meats and stuff like that, do it well enough. Government is about to send you a subpoena. You got to come to court. Don't you teach. They did it in the Bible. They threatened. They said, straightforwardly threaten that these men speak no more in the name that healed the impotent man. Acts the 4th chapter, I think verse 19. Don't you ever speak in that. They said, let us straight threaten them. Yeah, it wasn't no threat, lady. We're going to beat you up. You speak in that name. No, we're going to cut your head off if you continue to speak. Unalive you. All right? All right, we good? Let's read the Bible verse. John the 8th chapter. We're going to read verses something 12 through, it looks like, through 17.
St. John, the 8th chapter. Ye are the light of the world.
Who is ye?
Yisrael.
Oh, I thought he was the light of the world.
He's great light, but we light through him.
We are the light of this world. I know that you're saying, well, yeah, I hear you. I read the Bible verse, but do you understand what that means for you? Let's go.
Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Then spake Yahshua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life.
So do you see that there's not a comparison, but there's a connection between ye are the light of the world and El being the light of the world? That the light of the world. People think they know Yah. You don't know Yah. You haven't seen Yah until you cause them to see Yah. The Bible said in Ephesians that when you were without the light, it says that you were strangers and foreigners to the covenants of promise. You didn't have no hope. You didn't have Christ, or you didn't have Yah in this world. So people are living in darkness. Now, I don't know what type of what they have, but they don't have the light. They're not going to accept that. They're not going to believe that. But we got to allow the scriptures to speak for themselves. And you're going to show them the scriptures, but them reading it, they don't understand this. And so we have this duty to show them. Okay? Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. That means that through the way you live your life and through the way you speak, they're going to say something different. You know, when you speak and people reverence you and people honor you, they say, man, I know Kai's always been a straight shooter. She, you know, she good. She good. I know she not crazy. I know that she not gonna let nobody convince her that of some crazy stuff. So because she has a good reputation, if she says something, I'm gonna consider it. Now you all know folks that can't get right, and they be saying certain things. Like, it don't matter what they say. But there are certain people that you better take everything they say with a grain of salt. Don't let your good be evil spoken of. So if you start acting crazy, there are folks, right? This is a house of prayer for all people. But I see how you talk outside here. I see how you talk on the internet and the things that you share. Now you're going to come and tell somebody you should come to Passover. I'm like, for real? So we can't let our good be evil spoken of, Dr. Tate.
We've, of course, haven't read and encountered these verses many times, but I think what really stood out to me is that someone seeing our good works could cause them to glorify our Father. And I'm reflecting on, different things we've read in the Old Testament, thinking about, people like Jacob or Yitzchak having the favor of the Yehovah on them, and people who were not a part of the house of Yisrael, glorifying who they served because they could see the favor that Yah had. They could see the good works. And so it's just really fascinating to me to consider that. And then the same comment that you made, how dangerous it is for people to have a poor reputation, to not have good works, to have evil works, and then coming around and saying, I'm this, I'm that, I serve this God, I'm Yisrael. What damage you can do, how you can be the cause of someone not even listening to the truth. Yeah. If you have a poor reputation, if you're not someone who is doing good works, but now you're speaking in the name of the Yehovah, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
I can think of plenty of people that I know that if you said something to me that was the truth, I couldn't even be able to process it or hear it because I know your reputation far too well to believe that anything that comes out of your mouth is worth listening to.
Yeah. They say, you're not living right. Man, you was just smoking weed with me. How you going to tell me to get saved? Right? And we do that. And I think that kind of shut me down. It always pricked me in my heart when I came into the church. You got 1.5 foot out, couple of toes in. And then all of a sudden you try to talk to somebody and then they throw in your face, man, you out. And that changed me. It made me angry and I was mad at myself. Because, you can't serve two masters. You can't be acting like the devil and say, praise God. Just can't do it. And that was their opportunity to hear the truth. And because your life wasn't right, that blood is now in your hands. Okay. All right. Let's go on to our next slide. We finished that, right? Where are we at? The great light. All right. So let's talk about the great light. If I can get another reader.
There must be a light which shines upon man in order for him to receive salvation. This light is called great light, which is Adonai,
Adonai.
Adonai, God in the flesh. Therefore, in order for man to be saved, he must not only accept the Father, he must accept the Son, who is described as the great light. The people of God are also a light. They are not the great light, but without the light of the people, Yisrael, man will never know the great light. This lesson is essentially critical to A, show the non-believers why they need both God and Christ. B, to witness to those in Judaism and Islam who reject Christ. Christ is called the great light. And C, to show that his people are a light to the world by giving them the wisdom of salvation.
That's what gives you your advantage. Through his house, you're going to be able to explain the unexplainable. You're going to be able to make clear, once again, I'm not trying to scare you. I already told you about what happened when you start teaching about that meat. Start teaching and showing that Christ is that great light from the Old Testament. You show it from the Old Testament. You know what you're going to do? You're going to cause the crumble of Islam. Over 1 billion people. You're going to cause the crumble of Judaism. And they're going to conspire, just like they did in the Bible. Whether it's through the government and 501c3 or whether it's through just putting these paws on you. They're going to conspire because you're messing their money up. I mean, the growth of, if you go back historically, and I got some great movies, religion was really Republican Democrat. It was really about political. The Bible and God was a hook, but it was all political. Now, I'm not saying it's like that now, but that's, that's what it was all about. So we have to show non-believers that even when you claim Christ, without the correct teachings of Christ, you don't have Christ. You don't have the great light. You talk to anybody, they're going to say, oh, no, I understand about the great light. And I receive that. Well, no, you don't receive it. Because having the person without having the teachings of the person means that you don't have the person. Claiming to have the person without having the teachings of the person, you don't have the person. Right? You got to accept. Physically you may say you have. If you don't come home when the woman said come home, right? If you talking to a person in a way they say don't talk to me, oh, there's a major disconnect. You don't have them. There's a problem in that relationship. And so it's the same with Christ. Christ says, you do this. If you love me, keep my commandments. You say, I love you, God. I'm eating what I want to eat. Millions among millions of people are saying this every day and every week, that I love you. And he going to say, depart from me, work of iniquity. Because you're going to love me, and this is my analogy to relationships. You're going to love me the way you want to love me. You're going to love me in a way that's disrespectful to me. And you're going to say, I love you, and accept it. Hey, that's not happening in a human, earthly relationship, and it's not going to happen with the Father. You're a new kind of crazy if you think that you can do whatever you want. And then the Father is going to accept that. When he gave you instructions, what a smack in the face. He's giving you instructions. You say, with your instructions. But you accepted the instructions of man. Man said it was all right. The status quo said it's all right, so it must be all right. But what did the Bible say? It's an abomination. There are things that the Bible talks about are abominations. I'm for real. I think that you almost reprobate. Satan has blinded your eyes, or Yah has allowed your eyes to be blinded. That you justify the things that are abominations, say it's okay. Right? So let's go ahead and read John. Did we read John?
No.
Did we finish reading? Yeah. Let's read
In-
John, the first chapter, verses 1 through 8.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God.
Now, hold on. When we read this, I want you to see the light. I want you to see the manifestation of what the light is. How you know? Oh, okay.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God.
Hold on. What was in the beginning? Hold on. The word was there in the beginning. And the Bible said the word was who?
God.
And the word was with God, and the word was God? Okay.
All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not.
So don't take it strange that darkness don't comprehend the light that you give it. What is that? Darkness is shocked by the light. And it's hard for them to comprehend what you're saying. Even when you say, no, look, Sabbath is going to be kept in a new heaven and new earth. That's enough for me to keep the Sabbath. It wasn't nailed to the cross, because they're going to tell you it was nailed to the cross. Well, how's it nailed to the cross? And Apostle Paul said as his manner was. Now, Paul lived after Christ. How is it nailed to the cross when God changes not? How is it nailed to the cross where it's going to be kept in a new heaven and new earth? Let's keep reading.
There was a man sent from God whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light.
So if he was sent to bear witness of the light, then what did it make him? So he was a light, but he was the light that points to the greater light. You are a light that points to the greater light. There are souls attached to you that you don't even know. There are people that you're going to run into in the future that are in darkness. And Yah brought you here out of your mother's womb to shine some light on them. You were the one that was predestined. Can you believe that before you was born, you were predestined to speak to certain people that was going to shine light on the greater light and to bring them into the truth? Okay. Did we finish? Yes. Okay. All right. Anybody got anything to add? Okay. Let's go to our next slide. Paul said that Christ was that great light. Now, we're going to talk about this being spoken of in Daniel. And Matthew fulfills the prophecy of Daniel.
Most people think of Christ, Mashiach, as a separate person from El. Both the Father and the Son are the same person.
Ooh, Lord, I probably shouldn't put that. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
15 topics, 15 lessons.
Let me reiterate. Both the Father and the Son are the same person, but different forms of the same one person. 1 Timothy said that without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh.
God was, what does that mean? What does that sentence mean?
Yeah,
So if he came in the flesh, what was he prior to that?
not flesh.
He wasn't flesh. So there's a portion of God that was manifested in the flesh. Come on.
El was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory. Analyzing Acts 22, verses 6 through 10, we see clearly that this one person is called the Great Light, and the one person is described as both El and Mashika.
Does everybody see that? Ooh, without getting into it, y'all please say yes. Does everybody see how he was God and Christ?
You put a deep topic in a short paragraph.
Well, you could say I got 100 questions, but you should be able to see. If you believe the scriptures, that the Bible says that he was manifested in the flesh. That means he went from a spirit to flesh. And he was seen by angels. That means that it wasn't invisible. There was a physical being. And then finally it says that he was received up into glory, sitting on the right hand of the Father. Okay. So yeah, people have questions. Why? If he was a spirit, how did he come through Mary? How was he manifested through woman? There's topics that Okay. Let's read. Acts the 22nd chapter, verse 6 through 10.
Acts the 22nd chapter, starting at verse 6. And it came to pass that as I made my journey, and was come nigh unto Damascus about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me.
Bible is always talking about this great light.
And I fell unto the ground, and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And I answered, Who art thou, Adonai?
He said, what?
And he said unto me, I am Yashach of Nazareth, whom thou persecutest.
Now, hold on. Was Christ already dead? Had he already been nailed to the cross?
Okay.
And he had ascended and sitting on the right hand of the Father. Now, when he seen this great light, he said, who is this, Lord? Let me say it in English this way. Because I know that Jesus had died. And I see this great light. And my question is, I'm looking into this great light. Who are you, God? And God said what?
I am Yashach.
Hold on.
of
So he
Nazareth.
said, hold on, I'm the son.
Okay.
Right? But he's talking to God. So now we're looking at, I'll say this in English for the class. We're looking at, he's talking to the invisible Jesus, which is God. Okay? Because that's how he answered. Because, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say something. But God is a spirit, don't have a mouth. God is a spirit, don't speak. So he's speaking to somebody. So that's why he responded back, I am Yasha. Okay? Go ahead, keep reading.
And they that were with me saw indeed the light, and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. And I said, What shall I do, Adonai? And the Adonai said unto me, Arise, and go into Damascus, and there it shall be told thee of all things which are appointed for thee to do.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Tate.
I just wanted to add one contextual piece to what we've discussed from this Bible verse. So as we know, this set of events were told a few times in the Bible, and it's also mentioned in Acts the 26th chapter, this encounter that Paul had. And I think the context that is important to share is that despite what he was doing before he had this encounter with El, right? He was persecuting the saints. He didn't know and didn't understand that this person who he saw in the flesh was God in the flesh, right? And so he was persecuting the people of Elohim before he had this encounter with Yah. But he knew the Bible. He knew the word. And he understood who the great light was. And so he knew that he associated that with God. And when you hear the telling of this encounter in Acts, the 26th chapter, it specifically says in verse 13, it says, "In midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven, above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me, and them which journeyed with me." And so I brought this up because he understood that this bright light that is above the light of the sun, he knew that he was dealing with God.
Yeah.
But he was asking these questions for more clarity, and he's saying, like, who art thou, Lord? I'm going to do your business. At least I thought I was. And so I think that context is helpful of understanding this revelation that he gets in this encounter, that he knows he's dealing with God because it's this great light above the light of the sun. And then now you hear this response that I am Yashach Mashiach, whom thou persecuted. And now to be able to kind of connect those pieces, that who was walking around on earth was God in the flesh.
You know what, you said something that maybe Minister Yosef can answer this question. I want you to hear me clear. He said, let me ask you this question. Did Paul ever meet Christ? Well, let me ask a different question.
Did he beat the flesh, the body? Is that what you asked?
Like when he was like walking on earth, like the body. I don't think so.
Is that what he's asking?
Well, yeah. Okay, well, let me ask this. Have you ever read any place in the Bible where Christ and Paul said, put them up and start fighting? No? So, my question is, he said, Saul, Saul, hey, you should be encouraged from this statement.
Oh, I understand.
Why? What do you,
Persecuted thou me.
you persecuted me.
Oh, I hear you. I'm processing. Picking up what you're putting down there.
What? Hold on. What does that mean for you? What does that mean, and what does it mean for you?
Ooh, I know what it means to me. What do you feel?
You know, Janiyah?
What did he ask? What are you talking about?
Janiyah is in the third heaven.
Yeah, but she was in the third sleep a second ago. What are we talking about tonight? What's the
Hey, did you hear me say that you hear me say you gonna go to school one day?
what was the topic generally?
We're live and on air.
The light. Okay, that is where
We're live on
Yeah.
air.
Okay, well I'll tell you what it means to me. I'm trying to give space for someone else.
What does that mean? Anybody else? Anybody got it? Go ahead, Mr. Yosef.
Well, what it means to me is when he said, why persecutest thou me? So when we, as the light of the world, are walking, doing his will, and those who we come in contact with is coming against us because we're doing Yah's will, they're not technically fighting us. They're fighting El. They're fighting
Boy, you
Mashiach.
better say what you saying.
That's what I got out of it.
All right. Todia, Dr. Tate.
Oh, he said what I was going to say. No. You're not persecuting me, you persecuting my father. Okay.
So, yeah, oh, yeah, you going through. Hey, that's why the Bible says vengeance is mine. Listen, Yah can whoop way better than you can whoop. But when they go against you as his sons and daughters, there's an advantage to living right. Because when they persecute you, they persecuting Christ. And you persecute Christ, at some point he gonna say, put him up. It ain't gonna be a fair fight.
That's some perspective right
So Yah is our protector. It's hard. It's hard. Now, don't get me wrong. You sneak up on me, start hitting me with a stick. I want to defend myself through the strength of Christ. But we're just saying like things happen in our lives and people are wronging us. I always think like Yah is trying to teach me something. Yah is developing me. He's forming me. He's giving me a testimony, but he gonna get you. When he finished doing what he's doing in my life, I'm gonna say total Yah. Do we have full confidence that we can say total Yah? Because we've been in some bad jobs. We've been around some horrible folks and been in bad relationships. And we say, well, why did I have to go through that abuse? Why did I have to go through what I went through? I'm Yisrael. And you think because you Yisrael that you ain't going. Listen, Yisrael means to have power over power with El. And with, well, if you need power with man, that means man going to be doing some things to you. And to prevail, that means that you're going to have to overcome. Okay? Let's go through these points real quick. We got 6 points before we get to our last slide. And we're going to read completely through these first 3, and then we're going to read completely through these last 3.
What light means in the Bible. In the Bible, light is a symbol, not just something physical. It usually represents El's presence, truth, life, hope, guidance, darkness. By contrast, represents confusion, sin, fear, or separation from
What
El.
is darkness? So think about, he's a light. We are a light in darkness. So then our light is supposed to overcome what? What is the function of our light in comparison or in contrast to darkness? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Fear and the separation of El. Hey, ask y'all the question. Paul used to say, learning begins with a question. Learning begins with a question. So we should ask ourselves, Yah, what can I do? What is the plan for my light to get people out of the state of confusion? What is the plan for, I know that the light is going to change my behavior. But how do I cause the light that's in me to shine on somebody else and change their behavior? If you don't ask, it'll never be a thought. Think about Dr. Tate, Constance, think about things you want to do in business. How do I sell such? It had to be a question first. And then as time goes on, you get the processing. Now the question is there, so you meditating on that question. And then at certain points, you get an idea. You're like, I'm going to do it this way. But it started with a question. And so you were supposed to do something with the light that's in you. Let it change you. Let it transform you. And then let it transform others. Let's go. Did we finish the second one? I said I wasn't going to say nothing until we finished all 3. Okay.
The first use of light, Genesis 1, verse 3, let there be light. This shows that light is connected to creation and life. Before order and life appear, light comes first. From the beginning, light is linked with El's power and goodness. 3.
Okay, we cool? Number 3.
The great light and prophecy.
that